Hi, my name is Aaron Paget, and I did my photo tour in the Swan Super Ring. It's a location in Blaine, Minnesota. The facility is the size of about 300,000 square feet. It's an ice rink facility that holds 8 ice sheets and is the largest ice arena complex in the world. It is ran and managed by Pete Carlson. All right, so one of the first places that we went through was the upstairs lobby, and up there was the Hatcher Cafe, and it's one of their food services, basically their concession. Real large layout, real nice, gives a professional outlook. I also went through and kind of found some of the safety features on this floor, which were the fire hydrants they had located in a lot of common places, spaced out pretty well too. They had the fire alarms in most locations that were easy accessible so people could hear them. They had trash recycling so that they were able to be tossed away. In the main lobby, there is 4 rinks. Each of them are named after a team. Usually, these ones are related to high school areas. We just go a little bit more into the concessions. As you can see, Rink 2 is named after Blaine here. As we get into the rinks here, talking about one of the first kind of design points that I really liked is they had the 4 rinks centered around the Hattrick Cafe that you were looking at earlier there, with each having a viewing window that you could see out of. As you can see here, we got a couple of the trophies. As we go into the rinks, they had them predominantly displayed. Just going over a little bit more where they had garbages. As you can see, another good things, all their exits were labeled fairly properly, even in high view. So if you had a hard time seeing from below on the lower level of the ice here, you could see them. They also had security cameras there. All right, so on the next part of the tour here, we headed down to rings 6, 7, and 8. On the way there, there's the Herb Brooks Training Center, which is run now by Fit. And this is a whole fitness area where you can basically work on dry land skills. You saw here, I got a little bit of the weights. It's connected off of the one of the rinks, which is rink 5. As you can see, they have lots of hockey memorabilia relating to Herb Brooks, who was the U.S. 1980 Olympic hockey coach. Another thing that I noticed that worked very well here is they worked hard with their sponsors. One of their main sponsors is Red Bull and Pepsi. Throughout there, you could see everything. All their spots were predominantly displayed. As I was going through, I just kind of double checked their fire safety even. As we got over here, we made it to the Team USA women's hockey rink. As we got here, I got a couple of occupancy loads. All of the rinks were labeled with occupancies, and they had all of the fire extinguishers immediately next to the door, as well as plans on escape routes. So we're getting into rink 6s and 7 here, which is for Blaine in the Centennial Youth Hockey area. One thing I noticed that was really good was they worked pretty well with all their safety features. I mean, they had garbages in all the right locations, so trash wasn't building up. Fire hydrants were all, or fire extinguishers were all up to code. They had all their exits predominantly displayed, and all the exits were clear in terms of path getting out. As you can see there, they even have the AED defibrillators. So if someone were to have a atrial contraction or they have a heart attack, you would be able to use those defibrillators. They are automatic, and it does help in cases of emergency. Again, we're just looking at some occupancy loads as we're going through the rinks here. A lot of the rinks were fairly decorated regarding their teams usually. Again, we can see the security cameras that watch over locker rooms and etc. areas. Okay, and we're starting to get to some of the referee lockers there. You can see that they are locked away that so that materials cannot be grabbed out of when not in use. Got a couple shots of the women's team USA, uh, their practice rink actually, and then so as we're working our way back up to the main lobby here, you can see that all of their sponsors are predominantly displayed, which I thought was very well put and well organized. It directed you throughout kind of the rink itself. Some of these were even located, like Fit had a lot of directions throughout the rinks to reach their destinations. You could see here as we continued on here, we went to the second lobby, which is below the fitness center that we showed earlier. You can see they got a map of the entire National Sports Center, as well as the other lobby entrance here where you can see the keys to the locker rooms where you would get them. As we go into Bethel Universities, you can see that a lot of the rinks are themed after the teams they are playing in them, and they really go a long ways in decorating them to make sure that people recognize it. Here's one of the points I'd like to talk about that I really didn't like. A lot of their scoreboards were accessible to fans over the side here, and as you see, we have a couple of kids hanging off and playing on them, which definitely could lead to some unsafe situations. So we went on the way back here. We are kind of exiting. We are going over a little bit of the lore. They had lots of minor team banners hanging from the ceiling here. More of the Coon Rapids rink here, which is rink 1 actually. One of the poor design features that I kind of noticed along the way while I was walking here is the press slash videotape area. I kind of felt that with this being part of one of the main 4 rinks at the entryway, they really could have added a true press box or a location to safely film from where you're not necessarily in the way of fans. Another thing was the roofs were kind of an odd shape, and I actually found in that same arena a fire extinguisher that was not quite set up. Another point that I didn't really like was the area that the team actually entered the ice. As you can see, yeah, it's actually the entrance to that rink for the fans, and the players have to come through there. As you can see here, they did have very good map of the arena in itself and which rinks related to which teams. This definitely is a big help. Being as a player myself, I used to play at the Swan Super Rink growing up, and just trying to find your way around that large facility is very difficult. All right, so as we're wrapping up here, just a couple of things that learned on the tour really was more about safety features. In a facility this size, people don't necessarily realize the amount of safety features that you have to have, like AEDs, fire extinguishers, safety routes, security cameras. There's a lot of things that help keep consumers or just anybody in that matter safe in these types of facilities. Personally, for me, I really found the facility to be in very great shape, and if there were one thing that I would actually change, would be the amount of personnel. This is a very large facility, and I would be lucky to see anybody outside of the Zamboni driver around. And just trying to find information on the facility itself, it was tough, and I could imagine it being hard for somebody who was there for their first time to find their way, and it would be nice sometimes to find a little bit of help. So just a couple of takeaways from my visit to the Swan Super Rink. It was nice to see a facility of this size run on a game day. They had tons of college teams actually playing the day that we went. Um, One of the takeaways I'd like to see is is for me to actually go out to the facility again and see all of the National Sports Center and not just the Swan Super Rink. The size of the entire facility
And
is
that
really
actually pretty much
rivaled by
wraps up my
none.
tour
It's
for the
a
Swan Super
600
Rink.
acre
Hopefully, I'll be able
multi-sports
to get back
facility,
and tour the rest of
and
the
it
National Sports Center
contains
next
other
time.
sports like
Found this
soccer,
project to be a little
biking.
bit eye-opening, but you know
They
what?
got lacrosse. They have
Really
the
enjoyed
indoor
it,
field,
and
which can be
hopefully I'll
used
be
for
back.
football, soccer, or lacrosse. I would really like to see how the other sports operate in terms of facility management, and it'd really be interesting to kind of see the variance in safety measures and just in how you would operate those type of facilities, because an indoor hockey rink facility is not the same type of safety features as you would have for, let's say, outdoor sports like soccer, lacrosse, and etc. It'd really be interesting to go back and get a chance to visit all those